I'm mad, so I gotta get it out. Before I was happy, but I just eat, so I couldn't talk. Now I can. This it's passing again. It start back. The noise. Despite God saying, you're saying this, you're saying that, talking in YouTube comments that I put in the past, and he said, you're saying this, you're saying that, you're talking like a made guy, saying this, saying that. So I guess that's a way to say, God, forget about those comments, but sometimes the comment can can do a chain reaction. And I was thinking, wanted to do this video for 15 minutes. First of all, because I realized that in my teaching and wandering a bit of everywhere for a week, I firstly forgot. God, make me not forget anything this time, man, if it's your will. Otherwise, I'll do another video. It's nice to walk, man, and I walk all the time. I'm back on the streets, but it's too. There was, man, I can't laugh. When I was at my family there, my brother had the hammocks. He sold everything in the house. They lost what's in the house. I didn't even mention his right eye, just like me, didn't help after to help for an operation or for me, even though because I couldn't work. I was broken apart, man, because of that. It got me when I was a child, and it broke me apart because I was a starving true artist, the first one, and of course I had to go through hunger, man. Look what I just ordered a pizza, and this singer with a crack on her butt. So I'm thinking, okay, you know what? Sometimes you need a jacket. You can't sing better even with clothes. So why she does this? Okay, a part of the devil inside her. Just think about it. Half singer, half prostitute. With the crack and tear on people, and she was the only naked, half naked, all the dancer around. I mean, on the stage, and probably people too, if it's live or something, was on MTV today. What's the date? May 5th. And me as a background artist, already you can see that. If you had to find the truth or sharing, it's lost. And even if you take the song, the voice, as a singer, dress or undress, like what the heck? And I'm thinking, if she would have dressed herself with a long robe, people will see more how bad voice she is, or a singer, because it's all with a click, automation, and it sounds always better, and they don't even have to take care of their voice first. But no, they're not even truthful in that. As to how work more, they just go around sometimes with putting their triangle down, their despicable triangle down there first, or for some their belly, or the cash, which is very ugly. That's how you get ugly, That's why artists sometimes they forget about the cash. It comes after with interest, and they say, oh, he kept his beauty, but it's double-sworded, because pride and the blindness of pride. Oh man, nobody really loves you, man. It's a selfish pride, and a big poison. You're doing nothing. You sleep. You don't see the facts. You sleep. I don't care if you have pain for God, like God told me in a dream one time. Don't be just like Michael Jackson offering your pain. I don't care if you are in pain in body, or it happened an accident, or people jealous or envious, whatever you did, half of it, and then you fell down to pray for them because you went too far and you're proud. Like, for example, maybe, accident that happens even on stage for these artists. I don't want to name one particularly, but you see what I'm saying here? And I'm gonna talk about something else. When I was at my brother with his right eye, my mom was sick, right? And my mom was saying one time when I had my troubles and a devil and girlfriend or whatever the heck I was choosing, because I lost the money, and then I choose a crazy girlfriend outside, which is an angel like me, but falling down apart. I shouldn't say angel, but when I say it, I know it is, but God doesn't want people, I guess, to know like this. So for some reason, I don't know, but so I'm gonna stop saying this, because every time I heard this, and at least for me, and this was hurting me. So I was trying to help, and obviously, having had the money, I would have just helped very like distance, and would have probably worked. I don't care if it's paying the person the dope, for not the dope, but anything, a bit even stupidly or selfishly for a week, let's say, and then hey, trying to help you out, but you gotta know, you gotta quit. There's ways to do it, right? And usually the rock bottom is the way. Just spoke about this, that I'm trying to say yesterday, when God calls you, it's either a big shock like near-death experience that's gonna bring back to him, or that's why people hit their feet. Sometimes it's broke. I saw one today, the left or the right. They're too conservative, strict, like fascists. They want to rule everything, and they forget about God. It's their way. And or left, they're too evil, like sexual and pride first and stuff like that. The blindness. The right is almost you keep the truth, and the left is a blindness, a party blindness, until it blows up. Because see, when people party all the time, well, what happened after? Somebody has to clean it. If it continues the party like this for, let's say, 3,000, 4,000 years, what's gonna happen? What's the mess? And somebody gotta clean it. And if nobody wants to clean it, what's happening? Well, then you got sick kids. You got sick kids because, or among other things, because you have to have a balance. Let's say there's a temperature, so God doesn't get mad. So if God would only look at what man offers like this, let's say party, we'll get mad. So when a sick child comes, and first of all, it's our fault, it's not God's fault, because if we were praising God, I'm pretty sure he would come down and let himself know in all his glory and light and say, you have forgive the world, you have called, you want to be a person for me. And eventually, if all people will call God, I think, and stop to have shame. God told me, when the world stops, when the world stops to shame, the pain stops when the world stops to shame. So you gotta stop shaming, man, because the shame, the shame that you keep for yourself, for your mistake, if you keep it, other people will make that mistake, and you're almost as guilty. Okay, so I'm gonna take a break because I just see, and I'm gonna head up on this video. Okay, I want to also officially say, because many of comments that I put, man, comments can go, let's say you're not pretty enough to be the attempted Messiah or anything, and that's bad, because Jesus will come, and not on this earth. And the problem is, you say, or you lost your time squandering. You were supposed to be a shining star like me, like God told me, and I see it. And because I've done the things, and I used to walk very straight, like straight on the forefront, and seeing that in my domain, in my area, what you would have called the best was only a piece of shit. And of course I fall down. Of course, see, now I'm saying this and it might inspire a piece of shit. And of course I'm talking like this because this is how it is. Now, excuse my narrow vocabulary, because English is not my first thing, and since I got sick I couldn't expand my nature. But let's say a copycat. Now a copycat ain't no a piece of shit or a piece of crate, so, or a stealer, so, or anything bad, you know. It's like God is good, and God is joyful, and God is happy, and God is all this great quality, compassionate, and God is love. But you know what? You know, when something is ugly, something is hurt, something is stealer, and everything is tied up too. You know, so let's say you're you know, you're not aggressive, and some people come and look at you and say, well, this guy doesn't look aggressive, but they don't look close enough to see that might have scars and stand your background, which is honorable, maybe 30 times against turtles, wife, woman, crazy fighting girls, anything, robbers, knifers, anything, and they look at you. You know how many personally I get sometimes, they look at me and like it's my fault, and you have chronic pain, and they look at you like you're a bad guy. And at least they know that God visited you when you were even atheists, and he had a plan. You see how upside down it is, even in the thoughts, even individually, to people that actually doesn't deserve it. And recently, with all this medias, you would have certain people that will suffer like this. Let's say maybe in the family, and that person is obese, and now somebody that was obese with money like Oprah, with all these what do you call this, medical research, they can select and say, okay, we're gonna do this part, and that person's gonna be skinny, a gastro thing, or you know, all these operation you know, and Oprah will come and say, well, you know, it's not easy, huh? It's not easy. No, she's not gonna talk all the time and say, well, I did this, maybe I had to force myself more, or you know, because there's a good goal, but that's her choice. Usually from experience, I feel that I cannot talk for everybody, but from my experience, this thing is not good, because it opens doors sometimes to a gray zone. You know, for example, you have your nose. My example, I have my nose remade, which was unnecessary, but I was an artist, very complex. You know, fighting and being attacked, and just a little perfection because of my eyes, or I don't know, taken maybe from something godly, that I would see that. And I remember even my mom, I said, well, what do you have? You know, it's like it was drawn. Now I started to wear glasses for like 2 years, man, on my sinuses non-stop. And the pressure of being an artist, one day when I was born, it was overwhelmed, because all the artists was crap for me, so there was a lot of pressure. And one time, you know, I've talked about it, when somebody messed with me, like that movie I grew up, Billy the Kid, which was my first favorite movie, I tried to kill. It was too much. And just like, I remember I even heard an angel and said it's not good. And I remember I said like this bullshit song that was made recently, I don't care. And I always say that's the worst dangerous thing, to not care, because people shoot people and say, oh, I don't care, you know. Men in Black, that thing, that plane that crashed with the polish, and you hear and they start to laugh, you know, I don't care. You know, somebody's paying me, I don't care. Boom, you know, forget about it. Boom. So, this a demon just came in my tongue. So sorry for that. I went too far with that example, Donnie Brasco. But the problem is I'm gonna return to my thoughts a bit more holy here, or is it opens up, and then the boiling point, you know, even man, I'm telling you, man, the devils in people, they, I got two person that, oh, fucking person. I got the people, sorry for walking here, man, this, two person, and I'm doing a video, I don't like, you know, they leeching on you, man, and I feel it physically, man, you know. And the point is that was not too bad, but I knew they were there and they were not exposed too much. They would keep staying there for that, you know. And this gray zone, it happens. If, for example, me, I got hit right there after the operation. Oh, bro, it never fixed. Then I went my family, got out of jail 2 weeks for that. All it took was the Montreal 300, was so corrupt, mafiosi and everything. Not my lawyer, but it was here because of the tax that gets steal from couple layers. The Queen of England, since ages, and we had Joan of Arc, but apparently was not enough. I made the Virgin even from God to push them out from France. And now they did it again in New France. And now today, many Quebecers, including politicians, just like I was this month, are talking about mental health problems. Me, that I feel like I was an artist and I fake it. And I said, man, I joked to my mom. I was not joking though. I'm telling you. Because everybody has a different influence, you know. What happened if Putin would have messed up? You know, I messed up. Where's my light here? Exactly. The battery went down. Give me 2 seconds. So I messed up. Is this on? Yeah. So I messed up. Sorry, 5% goes dark. So I messed up and I lost my light like this phone. So I messed up. But God can pull it off, man. Anytimes. And it's not about to do it. Many times I try to, it's not about it's hunting. I try to do this and this, and God will break something, man. I remember the first time I left church and God wanted me to talk about this. My first video in 6 days. 2010-12, I'm Divine Mercy Apostle. And by the way, I go online every day after getting a box of 1,600 flyers, and I tell about Saint Faustina and the Divine Mercy, and I'm like, why everybody doesn't have this? Now it's everywhere, not because of the real Pope, because of a fake Pope. And I went to Vatican back then with Pope Benedict, God bless him, the real Pope. He go with all his mess and all his quality. He's so good. I love him, man. I would, frankly, I would feel it almost at peace if he was there. Like literally, that's why I left too. But then he left. You know, I'm like, you know, he's there, and you know, and I left as a first Catholic convert, the first body of the church, man. And then he left a year later, 2013. Actually, he asked for resignation in 2012 too. And me was after the Christmas, so 2012, like it was done. December, the break, and then never returned. I got sick, went gambling online, and that push for God, it sustain you. You go in red, but you don't feel it. It sustain you. But watch out if you start to sin. Suddenly that sustain disappear and you find the red. It's like you're fasting for God. You're fasting like Brother Andre, and suddenly you turn to sin. God's leaving you instead of sustaining you. When people were asking, how can you do so much work without eating less? His brothers were asking him. And then you had those people envious who wanted to eat and didn't want no fasting around idea, would say, you know, for example, this guy he's inclined with the devils. But not all the time. Sometimes it was true. But first of all, there's always envious people, and that's why the Bible says when you accuse, a thorough examination. And then you got other ones that say, oh yeah, thorough full examination. There's people of God that so obvious be, well, that's too much, it's not important, it's less time in the world. But to finish this, they will say like, you know, let's extend the time of that. Let people forget about that person. Is a too bright light, but God sometimes do otherwise. There's always those parasite of truth that think it's they go away with one shot. They think they're like an artist or a creator doing bad stuff, and it's just, well, it can be good, it can be bad. It helped me out, like those cartoons they did. But the problem is that they don't really understand inside, because they turn blindly away from God, and they cannot feel no more the right from the wrong. How, to what point? And if they knew about hell, man, I'm telling you, nobody would mess around. Everybody that went to hell always say how awful it is. See the smell here, first time I smell bad. In hell you can't breathe as much as it stinks. People saying, I wanted to die but I couldn't. There's no joke. And then you got the fire, it's all about people, what they were doing. Maybe that guy that was in there smelling that, he was eating too much. This guy, in front of me, there are two persons, I'm not gonna movie them. But just before I said that and around, he took one shoe and he smelled it, and he has a belly. But this is a sign. That's why it's important to preach, because God will give a precise timing for not always for everyone, but for that person especially. And it's usually the ones that need them, or someone that could do better for God and be a light. God knows you don't. Many times, I would say something and look, and it's what I said for that person before I look at that person. And that person knew it was for them. And sometimes many times that I just knew that after I looked afterwards. These are personal signs that God makes. This is a real art, real creation. The spirit of truth, man. That's the spirit of prophecy. Because you're in truth, the fog of lies goes away. Now I'm telling you, if the world starts to hate lies, to love lies, and then the Antichrist comes and start to give those sweet melody. There was a song about this, right? Sweet, like the glaçage on a cake, and say, look, man, and it's rotten. And a lot have two faces. They do one thing and they stay biased, like those people in the church today. God showed me in a vision. Somebody will come and say, hey, let's do this, and it's progressive, like even to the point of hurting, like it's a no abortion, even before the church of Christ came. And it's abomination. The thing would not even cross sight to argue about it centuries ago. And the Bible says, stand up for tradition, because that's how it got to us. That's why we jump in that boat, so to speak, in the first place. And then and the church is not the church of the world, and it should be a light, not the world changing the church. And the God showed me when something was this presented to a priest, they were like, and I found the word for that is like a bias for that, or a prejudgment for just let it go, let it happen. It's gonna come what they want in 5-10 years. They don't stand. Well, the big problem, and I hate those like this. It's those ones that are supposed to show like a father to a son. It's those ones that they took the spot of light. And when you fall like a stupid child, or who don't know better, because nobody's showing, they're the one that say, okay, I'm the priest here, I'm gonna take that spot, Don't worry, you feed me, you give me a place. That's cool, of course, and he has right for that. To what point, I don't know. Too much, they get corrupt and they get silenced because it's wrong too much, and then they start to like it. Okay, I like it like this. Let's happening. You're my boss, but I'm supposed to be your teacher, so you're paying me, I'm gonna go with what you're saying. But that's not what it's in the book. And I'm not crazy here because it's in the Vatican, it's everywhere. And when people want the truth like me or alone, they lose track. Sorry for screaming, but and what I'm saying, people, they feel it, but they cannot say it. And when you say until where, it goes. And that's why when Jesus speaks to prophets like me, what did he say? Many times we read them and it's the same priest who will condemn them. Jesus said, my priests, they go to hell. Cardinals and everything. Garabandal prophecy. Oh, it's too much. Oh, well, there are a lot of priests who go to hell. What do you think? You're the guilty one because you're the one, if you don't do it, much more than a guy who's not a priest. You're the one who said, put yourself forward. You said, yes, I can do this. You were called, you were blessed by God to be friendly. Not like me, a naked prophet who don't take the fucking lies, man. And I was an artist, I can swear. How many artists became prophets and they didn't know God? Maybe 2, 3. Don't take that position, man. Leave it for somebody else. Get out of the church. Get out of my church. Get out of Jesus Christ church, man. You pedophiles. Homos. You homo. Stop saying it. Heal yourself. I don't go to church and say, well, stealing a little bit, it's okay. God made me a stealer. No! Maybe somebody show me how to steal like gypsies or everything or all the people when you're 2, 3 years old. But you were not born like this. One time even the devil, when I sold my soul, I returned. No, he was kidding, man. He said, no kitty, no homo. And then you get those kitty garden fucking chocolate with eggs. No kitty garden, no kitty, no homo. They rub your shoulders. If somebody rubs me with that crap or somebody rusted, you think it's not going to come even to my skin analogy? You idiot.